Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 20th of January. So this week we start off the week with a rather light fundamental schedule, but having said that, there's still quite a few things going on. We've got the Davos meetings going on this week, of course. We've also got Mr. Trump's impeachment inquiry sort of developing in the background, which may well start to have an impact on the markets if that doesn't go as expected. But also at the tail end of last week, we ended the week on a surge of dollar strength, and that's creating some rather interesting technical setups for a number of dollar-related markets. So let's take a look at some of the markets that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room this week. Now, if we come and take a look at US equity markets, first of all, US equities have had a very strong run lately, and on Friday we started to see a few bits of evidence of possibly a bit of a weakness coming back in. They're not suggesting that the bull trend is over, but we may be due just some kind of sort of retracement like we sort of seen in the past, possibly back into areas of fair value before the next sort of buying spree comes in. Now, if we do see continued sort of weakness in these markets, then the sort of thing that we'll be looking for is possibly pullbacks into areas of support and potential sort of turning points. So if we take a look at the NASDAQ here, this is the NASDAQ futures contract. You can see on the 4-hour time frame, we can see the sort of rather sort of flat market conditions over the past sort of few sort of candles here. If we do see continued sort of weakness here, we possibly pullbacks into maybe the sort of 9,100 area, back into this previous support and resistance. Also, that sort of coincides with the sort of fair value zone. And also, it's a 50% retracement area of the recent leg of this trend as well. So again, if the market does get back into here, if we do see some weakness in the early part of the week, we'll be looking for potential sort of support as the market sort of come into these sorts of structure points. Now, if we take a look at the metal markets and the commodities, last week our sort of favor was on precious metals, long precious metals and higher prices in precious metals, with our favorite here in gold. We still like gold to the long side, and in fact last week we got positioned in gold, and we're still positioned in gold in the trading room. So if we take a look at this here on the higher time frames, you can see that we're in the process here of a long trend. We're looking for moves up towards the sort of 157 up here, 158 sort of area. There's previous sort of resistance here on the daily time frame, and that sort of 158 sort of area here on the 4-hour time frame as well. Now, there's still plenty of distance to go here, and we'll be just continuing to look for more positions here and scale into this if the trend continues here on these markets. Now, if we come and take a look at some of the currency markets, one of the markets that's it's in our favor at the moment that we're liking is Great British Pound to the short side. Now, Great British Pound recently has has seen quite a bit of weakness coming into it. Again, with the strength of the dollar at the moment, cable here is looking one of our interesting charts. So Great British Pound against the dollar here, you can see that this is seen some weakness over sort of recent times. It's pulled back into the sort of 120, 129 sort of 800 area here. You can see there's been previous support and resistance on this time frame, but it gets a bit more sort of tighter here if we get down to the lower time frames. So we can see this sort of area here on the daily time frames now been broken. We've got some very sort of clear structure to the short side down to 127 and 128. Again, we've seen weakness in Great British Pound. With that continued strength of the US dollar, this is one of the markets here that we're kind of favoring for dollar strength, but also looking at pullback trading opportunities in between these trading windows down to the short side on cable. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room at the start of this week. I certainly hope it helps and look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.